Good Tuesday morning, and welcome to Ice Age TV, the internal combustion engine age YouTube channel that talks about all my cars and trucks and motorcycles and SUVs and my addictions and my challenges. Yes, I have challenges. Good Tuesday morning there. Appreciate those that watch my channel, tune this morning. Really do appreciate those who are followers. And I just wanted to reach out to Army retired vet and say I certainly hope things are hopefully working out for you. My thoughts and prayers for you at this time, and I really appreciate your support of my channel. Now moving on, and that's one of my subscribers that is a really cool guy, and he's reached out to me kind of on a personal note, so that's why I'm recognizing him as one of my subscribers. And once again, hearts and prayers for you. So anyways, here we are on a beautiful Tuesday fall morning, October. It's Halloween, and look at the colors. You've got the variety and flair of all the colors here, and it is really a beautiful time of year, and really is now cold. 40 degrees out. I got my little buff on. Some people make fun of my buff, but it helps keep the cold air off my chest. So I really like, because the cold air just gets down between your shirt and your chest, and it just seems to make me not get sick as easier. Not saying I don't get sick, but anyways, it's Halloween, and who's gonna go trick-or-treating today, or trunk-or-treating, whatever it is, but beautiful, just truly beautiful time of year here. And for me, I enjoy making my videos each day and talking to everybody, and today's subject I thought would be from going from the multi-brand to the FLAW brand, and that's been a huge challenge for me growing up throughout the years. You're probably saying, hey, where's all the dogs? Yeah, all the dogs, they're at the vet. The daughter took the Jeep this morning, and she just left here a few minutes ago. And yeah, all the dogs, except the Kiefer boy and Scouty boy here, have gone to the vet because the flea situation just has to be medicated. It just it's lasted way too long, and the dogs are just going through too much. So that's what she's doing this morning. She actually has 3 dogs in her Jeep, and she's gonna manhandle all those dogs and get them to the vet. And Scout here is the lone one, and that's kind of rare too for these dogs that always are buddied up. But here's the thing: I thought I'd talk about the flaw. The flaw in life, as anybody knows, flaw's definition is imperfection. It's just unhappiness or faulty design. Things don't meet what you feel should be right in so many aspects. And I thought, boy, if the car industry doesn't have one of the biggest challenges is the flaw in the design of their vehicles. And that's been my challenge my whole life, has been I get a car and I start nitpicking the flaws in the vehicle that then make me unhappy and then make me feel like I need to get something different. But technology has gotten so advanced and cars have gotten so much better that it's a little harder for me just to kind of be like, that really just irks me. I don't want that car anymore. So, but I thought I'd stand here and drive what I feel is a flaw. And one of my subscribers and car show guys that has a new Z06, Brett, he pointed out to me in this Grand Wagoneer, there's a flaw. And I'm like, really? What is it? He's like, your running boards, when they retract from your car, and this car has a lowering suspension. This car automatically has an airbag suspension that lowers down. So he claims you park really close to a curb, when you open the door, so here we are, this car now won't open. But what happens is these steps deploy down, and when they deploy down, they'll hit the curb and they just destroy themselves. They'll break. They don't have like a pressure point where those will retract if it senses pressure as it goes down. So I was like, wow, never knew that. And I've come close to parking in parking spots where I literally have forgotten about that and opened the door up. It's like, wow, that's so crazy. So there's a flaw in the Jeep Grand Wagoneer. I think the inline 6 twin turbo motor is just a really nice motor, and that car there has, I don't know, 6,000, 7,000, 8,000. I don't even know how many miles that car is on it, but it has a decent amount of miles. I've got some good road time on that car. The Jeep Grand Cherokee here, this is the wife's car, so this would be a little harder for me to kind of nitpick what is a flaw? I mean, one thing for sure, the seats, always these leather seats are always a challenge in most cars because they start showing the wear and tear of getting in and out of the car. One thing that's kind of a flaw on the Jeep Grand Wagoneer is all the seating controls are up here on this panel right here. And it's just kind of very challenging sometimes moving the seats around. And versus this here, it's the traditional on the side as you drive down the road. And you can just, adjust your seat accordingly. And so for this car here, I just can't really get much into detail because I don't drive it enough. I think this is a really nice car. And overall, it's just it's got night vision, the 5.7 liter motor. So I can't get into too much depth on that. The Ford Mustang Mach-E, there's flaws in this vehicle because I feel like the designers and engineers just really didn't cater to the average person that this isn't so much a SUV vehicle. It's not a Mustang, it's an SUV. It's a crossover in so many ways. And there's no rear hatch. There's no rear hatch button in here. So if you want to open the rear hatch, you have to go to that display with the car on, and you have to go into literally a screen to get the car to open up the rear hatch. So, which is really just stupid in so many ways on the that design. Why they did these little push button things, mixed feelings on that. So anyways, for you to be able to get in the back of this car, you got to come back here and open it, and then underneath here, it's a very poor design on these little tabs. They have plastic tabs down here that actually holds the weight in the back of this vehicle. Well, my other blue one I had, I broke this because you get too much weight back here. This platform over there, it breaks the tab. Not the greatest. This here is not the greatest. This here pops out. You know, the window's down. My other blue one, I haven't driven this one enough, but my other one, this would pop out of that. I actually wire tied that to get it to work. The other flaw I would have to say is the charging. It's the charging on the vehicle, but we'll talk a little bit more about that. You go over here to the Ford Mustang. Mustangs are a great car, but the seating, to me, the seats, I'm never real comfortable in the older, here we go. Hey, come on, Scout, this way, bud. So my one dog's getting freaked out because of the shots. But the seating, whatever it is, it's just the seating isn't the greatest on the Ford Mustang. It just isn't as comfortable as like my Dodge Challenger. So, without going a lot of detail, but here's the thing. Here's a window. Here's a frameless window that the car has auto down, auto up. So in this car here, you can put the windows up and down automatically. Now the Dodge Challenger, it doesn't do that. So Ford Mustang, great car, fun car. It's more about the seating posture that isn't the greatest. So that's kind of a flaw in that. Let's go over here to the Ford F450. And this is why I just love to own so many different types of cars and trucks and motorcycles and vehicles, because I get the opportunity to really see how each car has its own personality, and I just get to change it up. And that's just my challenge in life. I get so easily bored of riding around something, because I ride around every day of my life in a car. Since 1985, I literally ride around a vehicle every day of my life. And so I just get bored of the vehicles and I have to have something different. That's what it really is more about. The Ford F450 here, it's a short chassis truck, so it's a bumpy truck. Yeah, I drove this to Florida with my little motorcycle trailer over there. That was a hell of a ride. That thing beat the hell out of me. But the seats, the gentleman that took this truck, it's not open, so I can't show it to you, but the gentleman that actually bought this truck, he actually modified it in some ways. He put leather seats in it. He made it to STX higher edition with a nicer front grille. He did the rear shocks on it. He did deployable steps on it. He made this truck into a really nice truck, but the seats inside are terrible. They're bulbous. So when I drive down the road, it pushes out my back, where it's just a very uncomfortable ride. So I drove that truck from here to Tampa, Florida, all in one day with my motorcycle trailer last summer, not this past, but the previous summer, and it was just a heck of a long drive. The Ram Mega Cab here, Kate kind of drives that. Not really going to get into that. Here is the Ford Lightning. Okay, so here's the Lightning truck, and it's a very heavy truck. I mean, this truck is extremely heavy, and you can feel it going down the road. On the FLAW side of this, this is really a nice truck. I mean, it's hard to really kind of, per se, beat the truck up. It's really down to the charging, where you have to stay on top of the charging. But overall, not a bad truck. It is comfortable. It has a lot of technology in it. And overall, I mean, I really do like the truck per se. But the flaw is you don't have that gas engine noise. You just don't have that connection to the vehicle like we all have in some of these vehicles, because we all grew up with these engines that make a noise as we go down the road. So these vehicles here, it's just a whole different type of ride. And once again, it's a nice product. The flaw that Ford has, it's too expensive. And that's becoming much more apparent now as time progresses. That is this truck open? It may be open. No, it's not. It looks like the back one's open. That's so weird. The expense of this truck is really starting to kind of prevail for Ford, and as he expects, the interest is waning. And what does that create? This is so weird. No, it looks like the back is open. I mean, it's a great truck in the fact to have the frunk on it. We have all space. So moving over here to the Ford Super Duty truck, the biggest flaw that the Super Duty series has for me is this live front axle. Yeah, live, right? The real solid front axle up underneath here, that when I do trailering of my vehicles, the Super Duties, the front end walks. It really does require a constant hands on the steering wheel, constant move around to keep that truck and trailer pretty straight. This truck here with this Carly suspension, it's really interesting. This truck doesn't seem to walk as much. So the guy that put this Carly updated whole front suspension of coil spring shocks and your sway bar, your shock stabilizers for the steering, your steering links, stuff like that, it seems to kind of make this truck a little bit more, it doesn't walk down the road. So in that aspect, this truck here really is different. But for the Super Duty series, especially the F450, the dualies, F350, they walk. And I just don't like that. The Ram truck doesn't seem to have that type of problem. And I've had the Ram 3500 2016. I've ordered all loaded up. And our truck was just like a train on rails. It's just such a straight line truck. I've towed that trailer right there from Florida into Tennessee and Virginia, and I just did a lot of towing with it, and I just felt like the Ram had a better towing capability, just being really rock solid straight line. The Ford Super Duties, I've complained about it for years. They walk, especially those dualies. Here's a Ford Power Boost, incredible truck. But I used to have here's a nice little spider for you. It's getting cold out there, buddy, and so I used to have the Ford Raptor truck, which that was my all-time favorite truck that I traded for this Power Boost. And the primary reason was the gas mileage. The flaw in the Raptor to me was the terrible gas mileage. And when I saw 23 miles per gallon on the sticker of this hybrid Power Boost truck, I instantly got very interested in this truck. Also, the tow mirrors, that really made me like, wow. Well, the flaw in this truck here is you don't get 23 miles per gallon. I've had so many people tell me, and so here's also for Army retired that's watching my video. Actually, I did work out of this vehicle over the weekend on Sunday, and I do drive it, but the only downside is this truck right now has basically 8,000 miles on it. And I just really don't want to just have have 20,000 miles on it, very easily. And it would, because I do love the truck. But I'm not getting the fuel mileage. And the reason I'm bringing up the mileage is because so many people said, well, if you just drive this truck, it gets broken in, you're going to eventually start getting 23 miles a gallon. Okay, I'm not the lightest on the gas pedal. I know that. But at the same time, I have driven around some days where I really am light on the gas pedal, and I get like 20 miles per gallon, maybe 20 and a half. I think I saw 21 once. I've never seen the 23 miles per gallon average from city, highway, and just, overall, that's supposed to be the average. So there's a flaw with Ford that in my eyes has misrepresented this product. And here's the thing. And also, in fairness, if this thing said it got 15 miles per gallon, I would not have bought this truck and traded my Raptor. But I never would have known what I was missing out on in this electric hybrid motor setup, because this truck is so powerful with that electric motor in the transmission to the engine. So there's another thing on the technology side. On all the Fords, I think anybody here would agree on a lot of the products. Challenge on the technology side is the constant connect and disconnect when you're in and out of your car like I am, that your phone doesn't connect to the truck. It drives you nuts. And so then you have your Apple Play, it doesn't work anymore. Then you're playing through USB cable and it doesn't work anymore. Well, what's really cool about this Power Boost and this Lightning truck over here, I can work out of my vehicles and I can just leave them on for the most part all day. I mean, this truck here, for the most part, you can be somewhere for a good 10, 15 minutes and it won't turn the engine on. So the truck will turn off. The electric hybrid setup keeps everything powered, and you don't have to turn off the truck. It can just be on so you don't lose that connectivity to your phone. Same thing with the Lightning truck. For the most part, you can work out of that truck all day long with the truck on, as long as you're kind of moving it every 20, 30 minutes. After 30 minutes, it just automatically turns off. Most vehicles these days have automatic function where they just turn the vehicle off after 30 minutes, because there's too many stories of people who have these keyless cars that forget about them, and that's a flaw. That's a flaw in the car automotive industry so many years ago. There's people that have died by parking their cars in the garage and the carbon dioxide. Here's a Willie Caterpillar. Do we have a really cold winter coming up on us? A bad winter? So that was a big flaw for the manufacturers, that they were people would go in their house with their car still running and they would die from the emissions from their car. So that's a huge flaw. So here we are now. We'll go over here, get the lights on, and get the Dodge Challenger. If you don't always watch my YouTube channel, then sometimes you're just kind of missing out and stuff here. And so here you are. Here is the same setup as the Ford Mustang window. Okay, and look, this here, very similar architecture, right? It's the frameless window. And this car here, you do not have auto up. You have auto down, but the auto up doesn't work. Why? Why did Dodge? So to me, that's a flaw, because you're going down the road, you have to hold, you're so used to the auto up versus, it's just you get spoiled on what you drive. Now here's the Dodge Charger. I'm drinking my coffee, so I'm sorry. Just gotta get my coffee in me to keep me going here. So the Dodge Charger, what flaw does it have in it? That's the thing. It's hard in so many aspects. Hey there, Scotty boy, you want to get in the office? Boy, it sure is quiet, right? Where's the gang? See, for me, sadly, as my dogs pass, then I lose the gang. And that's why I've always been on the page of getting 2 dogs at a time to keep the pack going, and they all have friends. I just am a guy who've always had dogs, it's been 2 at a time in my adult years, because I can take care of them. But here's the thing. So on the Dodge Charger Super Bee, what's the flaw? Well, I've talked about it many times. And it really is the same flaw in the Super Bee as the Hellcat, as the other Hellcat. It's all the same problem for Dodge. I don't understand why Dodge, when you get inside this car here, it doesn't have the functionality inside here. We'll sit down here in the car here. It doesn't have any functions here for like active exhaust for the car, which would be so cool if you actually, under your drive modes, or it had another button here that would give you capability to change the different notes in the exhaust by having an active exhaust valve. I just can't believe Dodge didn't do that. And then the other thing is the car doesn't have the rev matching, which I think is such a cool feature in these high performance cars, because it gives that really, driver experience with the car, that car matching the downshifting and revs. It's just such a cool type of experience. But other than that, I mean, for the most part, to me, some people just don't think these Dodge vehicles are built that well. But for me, I've been very fortunate. These have been very good cars to me. And I've had some of them with 10, 12,000 miles and be like, oh, wow, that's a lot of miles, man. Right. Well, but the whole point is I think the product overall is a nice product. It's come a long way. And sure, with the flaws for so many people over the years of the domestic brand versus the foreign brand, especially back in like the 70s, 80s, 90s, you would see in the American brand the imperfections of the body parts. You would just see how they didn't line up correctly, and that drives some people nutty. And so, but the manufacturers with today's technology and manufacturing capabilities, they definitely have cleaned that up where the lines really do, your lines really do for the most part look quality. I think this car emits a quality looking car, even though it's so outdated because now this is really an 8-year-old body style, excuse me, with just the wide body is not 8 years old, but the body itself in 2015 was redesigned. All right, now over to the Ford Bronco. Here's the challenge. I bought the Ford Bronco Wild Track package. I bought 2 of them, the Hot Pepper Red, and that vehicle I truly thought I would own forever. If you watch my video in January of 2022, and you see me getting my brand new Ford Bronco Hot Pepper Red, I call it the Hot Pepper Chilies or whatever I used to call it, and that was my favorite all-time vehicle. I truly believe that vehicle, I would never, ever get rid of it. And in fact, when the Raptor was announced, I was like, I don't even want to know about it. I don't even want to know about the Raptor because I love my Ford Bronco Hot Pepper Red Wild Track package, and I put an exhaust on it. I just loved that vehicle, and I just didn't want the Raptor. But yet here it is sitting in my driveway or sitting in my garage. And now, sure, yeah, is this the nicer of the two? It is. But at the same time, the Wild Track is such a nice price. It's so well priced. And that's a flaw that we're now witnessing in the car industry is the pricing. So what's a flaw on the Bronco? One flaw that's universal to the Ford brand, let me put my coffee down here, is the e-brake. I had Ram and Jeep. They have the e-brake. That is where now you just have this little pull thing that turns on your electric brake for your parking. And for Ford, I didn't even know this at first, when you put this car in drive and you push down the gas pedal or the accelerator pedal, it's the same for electric vehicle, the e-brake automatically comes off. But it makes no sense to me why when you put the car in park, the e-brake doesn't automatically activate. So but the Jeep and the Ram products, they automatically put the e-brake on and they automatically take the e-brake off on how you shift it into gear, have your seatbelt on. So why Ford doesn't cross the bridge? And somebody may come watch my channel will probably say, you know what, if you go into your settings, you can make that, but I can't find it. And I have a ton of Ford vehicles. So for anybody out there that goes, well, you're just too flaw with you is you don't understand how to look at your car manual. Okay, all right. Well, I appreciate the support and telling me how to set it up where it turns on automatically. I know it turns off automatically, but not on. So maybe I'm wrong. All right, so there's kind of the cars. You can spend all day at the flaws in cars. So I just thought, okay, the motorcycles. Wow. Now, let's talk about the Triumph product. No, let's talk about the Indian product. Let's talk about how I have an Indian Pursuit with a major flaw. With a major flaw where the motorcycle has a major steering issue. And today, the dealership opens back up. The multi-brand dealers are only open 5 days a week. I mean, I get it, but at the same time, it's in somewhat ways it's so aggravating because these dealers are just it's 5 days a week. They get 2 days off, and dealers love that. You work for them, but as a consumer, it takes forever to sometimes get things done. Yeah, AKA a Indian pursuit that's taking forever because they work on it and then it turns into another week. They work on it, turns into another week. That's why yesterday's Conversations, the multi-brand, I was recognizing Mr. Sanchez on how the multi-brand products are more challenging for the attention to detail for the mechanics to fix these motorcycles. So, Indian product right now, a major flaw. It's a known problem in the Indian world of motorcycles, of the pursuit motorcycle. Person after person is having the steering wobble. I don't know what's going to happen. So, I mean, I'm befuddled that the dealership didn't call me on Saturday. So hopefully today, for me, I'm going to go by the dealership today. I mean, I'm just going to drive there. I'm not going to even call them. And I'll probably make a video of me being there. But the flaw on the Indian motorcycle, I don't know. Indian motorcycle, overall, it's a really nice package. It's a really nice motorcycle. The only thing that's in my thing is the sound of the engine starting up. It's such a lame sounding engine that starts up when you start this motorcycle up. I just don't like that sound. You know, what is it about this vehicle that it just, to me, sounds so like, not that great. So now I'm going to push on the button. See, but here's where Harley-Davidson screwed up on the brand new CVO Road Glide, or the CVO product line. They really, if you're listening to Harley, they're not listening to me, but they were, you totally screwed up the new way of how you start the motorcycle. So here with Indian, here's a power on, and then here is the button to start the bike. So let's listen to it. I just don't like that lame engine noise. It's just so, what is it about that starter? I mean, so here's the thing. I just turned the bike off, but all the accessories are still on, okay? So you just power down off of this. I like how Indian put this little power supply for your battery tender where you plug it in. Very creative. I don't know why Harley didn't do the same thing, because you have to have these bikes on battery tenders. Otherwise, your batteries are going to go dead. So now we go over to the Harley, and look here. The flaw here is that you can only power on and turn on the bike, and then once it's running, you can only turn it off, okay? So now let's listen to this motorcycle start up. I like the way that motor sounds starting up. That to me sounds like a better engine. I mean, I just think that this sounds nicer, okay, over that. So to me, that's my own, that's just me. So now, watch. So you turned off, everything goes off. In the old Harleys, that didn't work that way. So that's a huge flaw for the Harley-Davidson product. Is this seat a flaw? This suede, borderline. So, but otherwise, the Indian Challenger, I mean, for me, I think that Harley made a flaw in not making this screen, getting creative, and made this where it could be manually or electronically adjusted. I'm surprised they didn't do that. But they don't want to follow Indian, so Indians say they're copying, but I'm like, screw that. Indian's copying you, Harley, all day long. Who cares? Here's a flaw. To me, this is very cheesy. This looks like this is Velcroed. Look at this here. This is Velcroed. Look at that. I mean, is that just, to me, that's like, wow. Are you kidding me? This is a $43,000 motorcycle, and you have that for your, does that fly off going down the road? I mean, I'm going to leave it off right now. I just think that is, you have to actually line this up. But look at that. I guess I can have a plaque. I guess down the road I'll have a little plaque on my wall, right? So that's probably kind of a flaw there. Wow, the FLAW Conversations. And I'm running out of time as always. Got to get up here to the office and continue the talk. Well, wait a second. Here's the Triumph. Love this bike. if you're watching my channel, this is my all-time favorite motorcycle. I don't know what's going on in my life. This is so not me because it's such an aggressive stance motorcycle. But this motorcycle just rumbles going down the road. When you're going 60, 70 miles an hour, you just hear this exhaust gurgling. You hear this exhaust on this bike. Just the engine, just blah, 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 blah. I mean, it is just incredible. The exhilaration, this thing is so fast, and it's rather comfortable. Even though I think for somebody that's maybe older, the way this bike is so wide, and you have to get your body out so wide, and how your legs are kind of pushed up into you on the seating posture, I think some people can't ride this because they'll cramp up. I have cramped up a few times this bike. It's been excruciating, trust me. But as I ride it more, my body seems to be adapting more to that. So is there a flaw in this bike? So far the only thing I think the flaw is if you're not cognizant of this exhaust over here when you're sitting in a light and you put your foot behind you as you're kind of waiting, that exhaust really starts to heat up your leg. The infotainment center here, it's a little confusing. I don't think it's the greatest layout. So I just don't like on how like how many miles you got. This says 476 miles on it. 38 miles to my service. Think about this. I bought this thing not even a month ago, and I bought that bike like 3 months ago. And that thing doesn't even have as many miles as this motorcycle does. So CVO is collecting dust. This thing is a blast. Only flaw I would have to say is the gas tank's too small because I can't go far enough. I have to fill up on every 120 miles. I like to go 200-mile days. So beautiful bike. All right, get upstairs, get my coffee, keep on talking about the flaw of us humans. Is that what and that's, once again, that's what I say. The challenge in the automotive world is bringing a product and the consumer can't, hey there, Scotty, let's go, buddy. Where's all your friends, right? You've been forgotten, right? Poor boy. So their challenge is not to design a car with too many flaws, because I think that's what separates us on the brand loyalty and not so much. Yeah, it's awful quiet in here. Probably should get the heat on because it is kind of cool. And yeah, I got the nice Indian Roadmaster. What's interesting is this Indian Roadmaster here, beautiful picture, but I wish my Pursuit was here. And here's my good old Chevy lifted, old Cuda. Yeah, that's back in the early 80s. I really wish my Pursuit was here because if you really look at the detail of that bike, it's not good. So when it comes to the Tour Pack, the Indian Challenger down there, Elite Series, doesn't have a Tour Pack. That Tour Pack really shows the imperfection and the flaw of the design of that motorcycle. It just doesn't. I didn't really get into much about the Indian Challenger down there. Because overall, I mean, don't get me wrong, it's a great motorcycle. It's a very nice motorcycle. I'm sure some people would be like, I don't know why you would give up that motorcycle. I can't remember if I put my coffee here. Here it is over here. Sorry, everybody, for all the distractions, but I'm sure it'd be like, I don't know why. I just have had my day, and what some people may not know is that I had, I can't even remember my passcode here as I'm talking to you. So, that's not right. So anyways, I had a 2020, I can't do it, I'm talking too much. I had a 2020 Indian Challenger, Dark Horse package. And I had that motorcycle up till June of last year when I traded it for the Elite Series. So I've had a good amount of riding time on the Challenger. It's a nice motorcycle. It's a great bike. There's no doubt about that. Anybody here watching my channel, I'm not here to tarnish Indian. I'm here to express my views and concerns about the Pursuit and the flaw of that steering. And are they going to address that? I mean, I'll be amazed if Indian doesn't make it right. And what I mean by that is either the bike is fixed and doesn't have an issue, or they buy the motorcycle back. Now, I'll be disappointed if they say, we'll just give you another one. I'll be like, well, why? Why shouldn't I have the option to reject me wanting another pursuit because I'm not happy with that product? So it'll be interesting to see how that plays out. But who knows? Today, I'll get an update. Yeah, so do I have flaws? Do you have flaws? That's a challenge in life, is us as individuals. Now, here's a UAW. I read in great length the UAW with Sean Fain and 3 other key individuals. This is a very interesting story for those watching my channel. Hope you stay and watch it this long. And a very good article that I read in great depth last night at 2 in the morning. And so this new Sean Fain UAW president that represents 146,000 union employees, there's 1 million plus auto manufacturing employed in our country. And so 146,000 are actually union. The other are non-union. So UAW is a really small footprint in so many ways of the overall auto manufacturing jobs. But yet they have so much power on the big 3, which is just kind of befuddling in so many ways. But anyways, Sean Fain, the new elected president that came in this past March, I think, of this past year, that removed the former other president that had a lot of dirty laundry associated with them using the monies of the union to do a lot of their own, selfish things for themselves and not for the union members. So Sean Fain has rewritten the union book in so many ways. And so what he did, he brought in 3 individuals that are in their 30s that are progressive. One of them is a Bernie Sanders and an AOC former campaign manager. Another one is a lawyer that fought for labor lawsuits. He even got apparently Donald Trump into court and did something that wasn't apparently right. That Donald Trump, what is right that Donald Trump does in the media world. And then the third one was a New York Times, or no, New York, yeah, I think New York Times, former journalist, reporter, and actually a guild writer, supporter, and fighter for better compensation for the New York Times. So right there, the UAW has 3 very much more progressive style individuals that took a whole different angle on how they negotiated this very much more open union agreements, being that these individuals got creative on how they attacked all 3 of the big 3 at one time, and they nitpicked each of their supply locations, the manufacturing locations, and then they shared on social media on a weekly basis through Sean Fain of what these big 3 were doing. And then they shamed the big 3 executives for the overcompensation of monies that they're making to enrich themselves, and not so much for the hardworking union people that make the vehicles to make them rich. So there was a very creative marketing and negotiating that got the UAW a 25% pay increase over 4 years, and a better health benefits, better pension plan, better, time off. And, so there's a lot of things tied into that. But at the same time, the big 3 keep on really adamantly saying that we're now in a very high, one of the highest paying auto manufacturing jobs throughout the world and industry. And it's very concerning. And so some analysts are saying, oh, well, this is only going to cost you an extra $1,000 more for a car. And I'm thinking, I guarantee you that price is not $1,000. It'll be $2,000, $3,000, $4,000. We all know the story. When you go bid to go, put something together, or build a house, or whatever your endeavor is, a business, the numbers are always double, triple, quadruple. Just look at the metro systems of these localities in these different states that need $1 billion to build a metro system, and then it goes to like $4 billion, or it gets crazy stupid. Look at the Ukraine war. How many billions of dollars have we given them, and it still isn't over? So, I mean, we know that number is like, yeah, right. So here's the point of that conversation, though, is on the flaw, is in down the road, will this so-called heyday for the UAW that used the progressive-minded individuals that have attacked the big executives and the big stockholders and the big board member room members for their lucrative compensations, and for the consumers that are paying the highest price ever at the fastest pace ever for vehicles, will this UAW win be a possible flaw in the demise of the big three as time progresses? I mean, does anybody really believe that the continued rise in pricing for these vehicles, that people can sustain this? I mean, I don't know. I mean, for me, I'm already taken back. I mean, so here's the thing. I can relate with this on a very local level here. The local Dodge Ram dealer is so badly wanting to sell me this Ram TRX truck that I did a short on like a week or so ago, or 2 weeks ago. I can't even remember. And I showed me looking at this Ram TRX truck, really nice truck, used 2022. A guy supposedly has put, I would say, 10 to 12 grand in the truck over and above what he paid for it. So the truck was 101. My selling salesman tells me he paid 10 over. They wanted 107 for it, 105, 103, 101. I'm down to 99, which that's just a lot of money. It's a lot of money for a Ram truck, which that's been very challenging for me to come to closure to buy one of those things. Well, here's what's interesting. You go back 3, 4, 5, 6 months ago, I'd say more like 6 months ago, when these Ram trucks would show up to the dealer's lot, I witnessed how people from California to New York, from local guy, picking these things up left and right, and they were gone. Poof. They didn't stick around. I showed you a whole video of me buying one, and a guy came in at the last moment and paid 15 grand more than I was going to pay for it. That's gone. They now have 3 Ram TRX trucks that are used that have now been sitting on their lot for 3, 4, now going on 5 months. So they're really wanting to get rid of this truck. And the thing is, I mean, I believe this. I believe they paid this guy probably $99,000 for this truck. I mean, I'm sure they did, but that was 4 or 5 months ago pricing. It's all changed. So, and now they have a brand new Ram truck, 2024, in their showroom. For the most part, is every bit of the same truck. Okay, so 2022 to 2024. It does have the beadlock wheels on it, but that's $119,000 sticker price on that truck. Wow. Versus and this isn't a special edition Ram, versus the truck I'm talking about right now is 101. So an $18,000, okay, I would say consider a $15,000 increase. I mean, you're just seeing these crazy numbers are starting to populate these cars. And it's just going back to UAW. Man almighty. I mean, sincerely, I mean, okay, as a business owner, if I want to take that truck, put up my company name, and claim it as a tax deduction, I can do that. I mean, I can write that off as an expense, okay? I mean, but you got to be careful of that because you have lots of vehicles. You know, eventually they're like, how many freaking business vehicles do you have? So, in all sincereness, that was going to be bought in my personal name. But the point of that is if somebody owns a company, they can justify spending $100 grand for a truck if they can get the right tax incentives to offset what they feel like is too expensive. But for the average guy, it's like, what are you doing? I mean, I guess it's just the wealth of the wealth of the wealth that has come to be for over so many years now. I guess it's just, I'm a pea brain, and there's just people out there who just have wads of money. I can tell you this much. A gentleman that was going to buy that Durango Hellcat when I bought my Plum Crazy, he was going to put down $60,000 or $70,000 to buy that Durango. I mean, wow. I mean, $70,000 for the average person, that's close to $100,000 income. I mean, you're going to have to make $100,000 to net 75, 70 grand. Wow. And that's why people all the time are like, why don't you just buy the car outright? I'm like, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? To buy a $100,000 truck? That's going to be a $1.30, $1.40 at least amount of gross income to even. So you just spent $140,000. I mean, how does that work? Wow. Oh my goodness. All right. Well, anyways, I think I'm gonna wrap it up. It's now turning a 45-minute video. When I kind of do the walk around the cars, that turns into a lot of time. But I just like to share my views and ideas and thoughts of what we all have a favorite, and we all don't have so much of a favorite. Anyways, hey everybody, thanks for watching my channel. I'm gonna cut it off there, and stay tuned for the update on the Ford Mustang GT. What's it doing? I mean, I can only hope they call me today and tell me it's ready. Here's the thing. I really want to put a supercharger on that car. They're not available. That's a fact. I did my research last night. I even reached out in the Mustang 7G forum. There is no supercharger available. They are coming, but they're not available. So you can't even do it. Wow. Yeah, that's smart because it just saves me a ton of money, right? All right, everybody, have a great day. And with a glimmer of hope, maybe you'll see a video of me on the Indian Pursuit, or maybe you see me on a video of picking up the Ford Mustang GT. I don't know. I got to go to work. I got to drive in a totally different area from where that Mustang GT is today. But anyways, God bless. Stay safe and have a great day.